certain number of time, take it out, let it cool off before you take it to the store to keep. Now, once it gets to the store, your job is over. Now, depending on the hospital, you could be involved from there again. When you are in a hospital whereby Central Sterile Processing Department is responsible for picking of cases, picking of trays for the surgery, then your role comes into play again. But if you are working in a hospital whereby Central Sterile Processing Department is not responsible for picking of the trays for the surgery, then your role ends once the instrument gets to the store. Did that answer your question? All right. Good. Online people, are you with us?
Yes.
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 Good.
So what you described to us, we are all in sterile processing technician certificates.
Yes. Yes. Everything that I have said is part of your job. So we are going to, once we continue to progress, you see the decontamination part, you see the prep and pack part, and you see the sterilization.
So the workers are rotating.
Yes. So in my hospital, for example, I have what we call weekly schedule. So if you are working in decontent, you're going to be in there for 1 week. The following week, you go to another place. You go to sterile. This is how my schedule looks like. Decontent to prep and pack, then into sterilization, then back to decontent. It's a cycle. All right. So you are not going to be at one place. Some hospitals, yes. Some hospitals, they hire you, they keep you someplace for a very long time. Okay, and some people love it. I don't love it. Okay, some people love it, but because once you are kept in a particular place, you are restricted. You are not exposed to other things. What if you move to another hospital whereby they are now asking you to do something that you've never done before? Meanwhile, you have a certain number of experience. You look what? Stupid. Right? Yeah. So if you go to a hospital whereby you are restricted, try as much as possible to find a way to expose yourself to other areas, because you don't know, you are not going to be there forever. Certain things may happen, you may have to go to another hospital, or you may move out of New York, go to another place whereby you get hired, and then they say, come and sterilize the thing. I've never done sterilization before. Meanwhile, you say you have 50 years experience. What were you doing for the last 50 years? All right. Online people, any question?
No.
All right, great. So now let's zoom to our chapter 1 of what we are about to do. All right. Introduction to Central Service. Introduction to Central Service. What are we here to learn? The learning objectives. Review the Central Service workflow and organization. Identify essential knowledge and skills for technicians. Define key responsibilities of Central Service roles. Emphasize the significance of education and training in improving service quality. Highlight the importance of Central Service Department in overall operations. I love the last one. Highlight the importance of Central Service Department. We are going to see, you will see that in almost every slide that we talk about, you play a very, very important role. From beginning, from this chapter 1 to the last one. That's why I'm saying that the doctor cannot do without you. That is why when you go and you cut corners, you are jeopardizing with people's lives. So always, this is how I behave. Always do it as if the instrument is going to be used on you. Put yourself in the shoes of the patient. And then you do the great job that you need to do. All right? So these are our learning objectives. Introduction, medical procedures and supplies. So in every medical, in every surgery, when the hospital said, if they say procedure, that is surgery. Okay? You hear procedure, that means they are going to do surgery. So in every surgery, we have instruments that they are going to use that are reusable, meaning that they use it, they clean it, get it ready to be used another time. And then we have single-use items, meaning that you use it once, you throw it away. We call them consumables or consumable supplies, whatever. Okay, so the reusable ones, you have to keep them, take them to Central Sterile Processing Department, get them clean, let them go through the process again, get it ready for the next one, surgery. So reusable items, thoroughly clean, inspect, disinfect, and or sterilize one. Sterilization is required. Ensure safety for treating other patients. So you make sure that it is safe to be used for what? Other patients. What is your role in doing this? Performs important reprocessing activities, and then every central service department is located in the hospital. Okay, it's located in the hospital.
Thank you very much.
Advancing technologies, the service or medical field has evolved, like I said earlier. Because of that, there is an evolution of central service profession. And what that means is that there's a significant advancement in patient treatment and care. Like I told you earlier, surgery is done, you will not know. If they don't tell, the person doesn't tell you that this was where they did surgery, you can't. It's not like maybe 50, 60 years ago, whereby you could see a very big line telling you that something happened over there. Today, it's not like that. So, because of that, more complex handling and processing of surgical devices. We'll see them along the line. And then we have, like I said, minimally invasive procedures. Minimally invasive surgery. They just make a small opening. They use something to enter in there, and then they can visualize everything that needs to be seen over there, over a monitor like this. So the doctor is working, and then he's watching the monitor to see what he's doing in the system of the patient. So what are the benefits of this small opening compared to the big one? One, benefits include shortened stays and smaller incisions. So it doesn't stay, you don't have to stay in the hospital for a long period. Unlike when they have a big opening. When they just make a small opening, it heals faster. That's why you don't have to stay in the hospital for long. Reduce trauma and shorter recovery times. Same thing. It requires complex instrumentation and processing protocols. Yes, because they have to open small, it means that the item that is going in there is complex. So you also need some complex processing protocols to take care of that. And you get to know all of this once you are working in the field. It looks complex, but once you are there, it's so simple. All right? And if you like it, you enjoy it. Future of medical technologies. Continued advancement in medical devices. Even when you are in the field, you see new things every day. Okay? Even once you are in the field, you see new things. So it's a continuous learning process. Increased complexity requiring central service technicians to keep up. So you always have to be learning. So that's why we have in-services when you are on the job. We do in-service. If something new comes into the department, we invite the manufacturer to send us somebody to come and teach us how to handle it, how to clean it, how to process it, how to take care of it so that it can last long and be used on patients without having to harm them or get damaged. Introduction to the field of central service and required skills. So once technologies advance, you also need to be they need to introduce it in the first. And once they introduce it, you as a technician, you also need a certain skill to be able to do that. That's why the in-service counseling. They train you, and then the manager takes over. The one-day training is not enough. The manager needs to know a whole lot so that when you are staff, then the manager can come and say, no, do it this way, do it that way. And then you can also consult something that we'll be looking at throughout this course, what is called IFU. IFU, information for use. I, information, F for, and then you use, information for use, IFU. So you need to know that everything comes with a booklet. If you buy a TV, what do you get to operate a TV? Manual. So if you don't know how to operate a TV, just go and look at it, read the manual, and start pressing, and you get what you want. So same thing with instruments. You use the IFU a lot. You see how medicine has advanced? You can see that the pictures on your right, the pictures have different settings, right? Yeah, you can see, I'm sure on the lower right-hand side is what we have in the current moment. The picture on your left-hand side at the bottom probably will date back to maybe some 100 years ago, right? Yeah, so medicine has what? Changed. So we say operating room advancement. The colors, even the colors will tell you that things have changed. See, black and white, black and white, black and white. And then we come to a little bit of color here, and then now the color is more. Let me see if I can. Let me not mess up with my. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah. So there probably will be some 100 or 120 years ago. Then here will probably be some 60 years ago. Maybe this one 20 years ago, and this picture is currently what we have, right? Yeah, good. Now, what is your role? This is the operating role in involvement, advancement. So significant advancement in patient treatment, more sophisticated instrumentations and complex things. We have seen that changes for central service technician ready. We say a steady introduction of our new technologies over the years. So new things come every day. You see minimal invasive procedures, small openings, so small instruments, and you have to treat it. If you get to the hospital and they tell you this is used for treating patients, you will never believe it, but it is. So whatever you see once you get into the hospital system, don't just assume that it is trash. Ask questions. Ask your friends. Because you may be throwing something that costs like 5,000. Something so small, but it costs a lot of money. Sometimes an instrument, one instrument is your whole yearly income that you make. So once you get there, please ask questions. Don't guesswork. Ask. Get the answers you need before you proceed. We have seen minimally invasive procedures, what it brings. You don't stay in the hospital for long, you recover quick, the trauma is smooth, low. Now, sterile processing advancement. We have seen the operating room. What about our department? How has it evolved? How has it changed? This is how it used to be in the past. The left-hand side is in the past. Okay. See the right-hand side? See the lady there?
Yeah, we still use this one in Ghana.
You still use yes, Fatima, right? But yeah, we still use the left-hand side in the developing countries. They still do that. I remember growing up as a child. Those days they used to kind of do vaccination in the schools. One dogo line, one needle, all of you. Today, can you do that? Yeah, that's how it is. So on your left-hand side, you see that container there. I don't know whether it looks today. It looks like a trash can, right? Yeah, it looks like a trash can. But that was the way they were sterilizing their stuff. On the right hand side, you see that beautiful lady. I don't know. I'm sure it's a lady. Yeah, see the lady. It's sophisticated. That's what you're going to see when you get employed. All right. So it's not that in the oral that has advanced. Our departments too, we have what? Advanced. All right. All of that is what I've just summarized to say. Now let's go to central service operations, integrated processing areas. Now, when I finish this slide, I'll be asking somebody to do the reading. Okay, so get ready. Last year we're doing that, right? On charge, so that everybody participates. Okay, don't feel shy. We are here to learn. Nobody knows it all. Me myself, I don't know everything. Okay. So when sometimes there are some words I can't even say it, so I'll ask for your help. Those people who speak the big language, English language, they help me. So now processing of soil items and sterilization of medical devices are increasingly being performed in a single centralized location to streamline workflow and maintain control over critical practices. So everything is what? Centralized. And then there is a streamline of what? How the work should go in the department. Okay? So that everything is controlled. Now, rising demand from complex and reusable devices. There is an increased use of reusable and technological advanced medical instrumentation. Significantly has raised the demand for efficient and accurate reprocessing services. If they buy instruments that they reuse, it's cheaper, it's cost saving. Okay, if you have to use this instrument, when is this one going to break? You see, it's going to take you so many years. This piece is probably about 50 years old. Nobody knows. This is not going to break anytime soon, unless you probably get some articulators to pass on it several times before you get it to flatten. So when reusable items or instrumentations are bought, it's cheaper, it's cost saving, all right? And then the ones that are complex, expensive, they want to make sure that we process it, we give it the attention that it needs so that it can last long, so that the hospital can do some cost saving. Because when you get there, you want to do some OT, right? And make some more money. If the hospital is spending money all the time buying instruments and replacing, where are you going to get money to pay when you do OT? So you got to handle these complex instruments carefully so that they can last long, so that when the hospital saves money, you too can get one. When you do OT, the hospital will wait to pay. Growth in healthcare facilities. The expansion of the healthcare industry includes the development of outpatient clinics. So outpatient clinics, ambulatory surgical centers, and specialized professional offices. So I made mention of them. So the dental office now have central service technicians sometimes. The surgical centers have surgical central service technicians over there. The ambulatory service. All right. Yeah. So the ambulatory care center also have surgical central service technicians over there, and then the main hospital also hire service technicians over there. So your job or the areas that you have opportunities to enter is so vast. It's not only the hospital. So when you get certified, you can get the opportunity to go into work in the doctor's office, you can get the opportunity to work in the dental office, and get an opportunity to work in surgical sites. All right. I think we have been talking for a while now. We have been sitting for a while. Let's just take some 15 minutes break. Okay. Stretch ourselves, get some water, use the bathroom, and then we come back and then continue. All right. Online people, are we okay?
Yes, we good.
Okay, so
Yeah, we got it.
Your fish, and then invite us.
135.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we take about 15 minutes break. So if it's take it to 120, 125, everybody should be back. There's water right there. In the back, place if you want to use the bathroom. But
The last part about was growth in healthcare facilities. Another operation that we need to look at is development of satellite processing units. By this, we mean to support off-site healthcare locations. Satellite sterile processing units are being established. These operate under centralized oversight, promoting consistency or control. So, development of off-site satellite locations. We have places where they bring other hospitals bring dirty instrument or instrument to be processed, and then when they are processed, they are now distributed to other healthcare centers. Okay.
How do you want to pay?
Card.
There is a centralized oversight. There is a place whereby things are done universally. Okay, they're done equally, or same standards apply to everything that they do, so that the services that all the hospitals receive from different locations, the distribution that is done to different locations, the service that they get is of the same quality. There's no going to be one is substandard other than they are.
That's your receipt.
Centralized management and standardization. Centralized sterile processing models support the implementation of standardized quality practice, helping to ensure compliance, reduce variability,
No, this is not. Yeah, I took the wrong key.
improve overall patient safety. Please, the golden rule is mute yourself. Those online people, mute yourself. All right. So we make sure that management is centralized, such that there is quality of practice. And then also making sure that if it is centralized, there is compliance. It means that whatever we are all doing is the same. Okay. And then we also improve overall patient safety. Once we do the same thing, we are in compliance, nobody's cutting corners. It means that at the end of the day, what the patient gets is quality. But if we are also doing it and we are not doing it right, what the patient gets is also poor quality. Okay, so that's what it is. Critical role of educated, skilled CS technicians. Highly trained central service technicians are essential for maintaining high quality standards, adapting to advanced technologies, and supporting the complex demands of modern healthcare environments. So, highly trained. Once you get the training, theoretically and practical. What you are hearing today, and you'll be hearing for the next couple of weeks, plus what you go and do with your hands. Once you get to the hospital to do 400 hours, we're expecting that it will help you to be able to function if you meet complex situations. All right. Operational efficiency through centralization. By consolidating services, healthcare system can achieve greater efficiency, reduce duplication of efforts, and improve turnaround time for sterile instruments and supplies. So when things are centralized, we can cut down time. Okay, it's all small here, small there, small there. First, costs. You're going to reduce costs. Okay, everything is going to be done at one particular location. So cost is going to be reduced. You're going to cut down the time that you need, especially maybe travel time and what other things is going to be cut down. And then once it's centralized, it makes what? Sterile instruments and supplies, the turnaround time or the time we need to get these things processed, get ready for use is cut down drastically. What is the word central and central service? You see that the word central is in quotes. What is its purpose in central service? Centralized services, processing soil goods and sterilizing devices in one location. So centralized means one location. This ensures readiness for location. It makes it easier, or it's much easier for us to get things ready for use for the next procedure. Increased demand for processing services. There's a growing trend of using more reusable and complex medical devices, as a result of which you are here trying to get some profession or some career to move on with your life. Expansion of facilities to remote services, service venues. So there is expansion. The hospital alone cannot. There are certain procedures that can be done in the doctor's office, so you don't have to go book an appointment in a big hospital. All right. And once the procedure is done in the doctor's office, those instruments need to be processed. That's why to be sterilized, and they have to do all of that along the line when we continue the discussion. Right? Centralized management. It eliminates maximizing utilization of resources. So once it is centralized, it eliminates costly duplication of processing equipment. So utility, space, and personnel. If everything of central service is one location, okay, do you have to buy maybe 2 machines? No. You buy, if you are using 1 machine, you buy 1. You don't have to buy a second one because everything is for one service, right? Same thing. You don't need office space here, but you need another office space somewhere because everything is centralized. So that's what we mean by it eliminates possible duplication. Then the importance of educated and skilled technicians, knowledgeable about job complexity, precautions. When you have centralized management, one of the benefits you get is the educated or the technicians become highly skilled. And when they are highly skilled, what happens is that they become knowledgeable about the complex nature of the instrument that come in. Trust me, when you begin to do it, all this talking, it looks complex to you. But once you get in, you start doing it, and you love it, what you're doing, it becomes easy. Very, very easy. You wake up, you are sleeping, and they will tell you, and they ask you this, you know what to do. Okay, but now that we are talking, it looks abstract, it looks complex, but when you get in there, you will find. Ensure safety and welfare of patients. So once you are well skilled, safe for the patient who is coming to the procedure. Very, very important. Your role throughout this conversation is key. Then the next point is efficient material management handling techniques. So it provides high level of efficiency. Increased volume of processing. Centralized services and effective equipment, and allows processing of more materials in less time. So the machinery that you use, you're not going to be using your physical strength throughout. You're going to be using machines. So as a result, you are going to be able to process a lot within a certain period. So the washing will be done by the machine. You get to see them maybe along the line. Have to cap and plate in the house. All right. Yeah. Those are the very, very delicate ones. And all of it, the IFU will tell you, the manufacturer will tell you whether you need to go into the machine or you need to hand wash it. All right. And that is where I say, if you don't know or if you don't understand, ask questions, ask your colleagues. Don't guesswork, because something that is not supposed to go in the machine, put it there, you damage it, and then the hospital has to spend more money to do this. Meet demands of increased workloads in the healthcare center. So if it is centralized, it makes it easier for us to meet increasing workload or increased workload. Even if the work is more, you can call in people quickly. Service is central service. What do we do is what we mean by service. What are the roles that we play in central service? One, role of central service is essential for proper patient treatment. I've said that several times. Provide process, sterile supply, instrument, and equipment. Our role is to provide supplies, instruments, and equipment. So what comes together to do surgery is not just this. Okay, they have gloves, they have sterile gloves that the patient or the doctor will wear. Nobody needs to touch it. If you touch it, it's contaminated. The doctor will have to kill it. And then the doctor is doing surgery, and then this is the third. This is where they have set up the table. Your body touches the table is contaminated. They have to stop the surgery, clear everything, bring it in. You see the whole thing. So your role is very, very important. So take note. Integral part of quality patient care. Your role also make sure that you are part of a very important system. What happens if you become employed and you don't do the right thing, and your tray goes to the OR or go to the operating room, and there's a problem with your tray, the doctor will scream and call your manager to come and see the mess that one of his workers will do to you. He also squeeze you, right? So they squeeze your manager, and your manager will come and say, yeah, I'll get him. Call him to his office and discipline you too. So your work is very important. The doctors get frustrated if you don't do the right thing. They get excited if you do the right thing. So very important. Names and scopes of central service. So accepted names in many healthcare centers. So if you go to some hospitals, they give it a different name. We'll get to see some of the names along the line. So names may vary to reflect scope of service. So the names they give determines what you do. Some places they call it central supply. Okay, meaning you just break boxes, you take the single-use items and stage it on the shelf. Okay, in some places, depending on what you do or the services you render, they give you that name. Services provided can vary by facility. So some hospitals, the techs, they do the cleaning, the prep, the cooking. They are the same people who also set it up, like the question Fatima asked the other time in the orientation section. So you rotate in the hospital where the department is responsible for picking of cases. That means that you will be in the content 1 week, you go to prep and pack, you go to sterilization, and you also go and pick cases. So when you're picking cases, you pick the reusable, you pick the supplies as well. Okay. Bigger hospitals, that's what they do. Smaller places, they don't do that. Common names of central service department includes sterile processing. So some hospitals they call it sterile processing. Some hospitals also call it central processing. Then they also call it sterile processing and distribution. So every hospital they will call it. And then some also call it central sterile supply. Continuing from the service in central service. Importance of service in central service. CS is centered around providing essential services. You support direct patient care providers. It supports direct patient care providers. So the doctors, you are supporting the doctors, the nurses, the surgical techs. These three people or professionals are in the room. The doctor, the nurse. In every operating room, we have a doctor, we have a nurse, and then we have a surgical tech. Our job is supporting these three people in the room. That's what I mean by support direct patient care. Yeah. Yeah, they say this. So so the circulating nurse means that from the word circulating means that he's going around. He's going around checking whether everything in the operating room is going according to plan. That's the circulating nurse. Okay. He's going about saying, okay, it's your time to go for break. So I'm bringing somebody to replace you once you go have your break. Because hey, if let's say you're in the operating room, right? A surgical tech or a nurse, you are scrubbed in, and this is the case, you need to pee. What happens? You have to go, right? So they have, but once you are going to pee, surgery must continue. So they find somebody to come over, take over. Once you go, make yourself good. So the separating nurse he's not in the room. He goes around checking to make sure that everything in each room is going according to our plan. All right? Good. Yeah, so dependence on CS by other departments. So it's not just the OR that depends on your service. So you see how important your service is? So provides sterile, process sterile supplies to other locations, delivers instrument and equipment, and also supplies ready-to-use medical products. So let me tell you, your role is very important to provide surgical instrument to labor and delivery. Everybody was born. Nobody was manufactured. Every single one of us was born, right? So if you go to sometimes your wife or your sister-in-law, every one of us here, I want to believe that has experienced birth in their family before, right? Sometimes you go, your sister is pregnant, your wife is pregnant, the baby is big, the baby cannot come out naturally. They have to cut to get the baby out. Where do they get the instrument to have from you? Okay, a child is playing with some toy in the mouth before it goes in there. The baby is choking. They drive the baby to the emergency room. They get some instruments to get that piece out. Who provides the instrument? You. So, the emergency room, the labor and delivery, ICU, and the rest, you support them. So your role is key. That's why I say that. If you're not there, the hospital will lose money. When they do surgery, you can pay over $10,000, $50,000, some surgeries. All right? So your role is very important. Service personnel role in quality patient care. Integral part of patient treatment. You are very important. Ensures proper patient care through essential items. So every item that goes through your department, you need to give it maximum attention, because every slight mistake you make, it will produce a negative effect in the room. So think about it. It could be you, it could be your family member, it could be a very, very good friend. Our online friends, are you with us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
We are with you.
All right, let's continue.
Before then, there's a question.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Yeah, you made mention of in the beginning. You made mention of reusable equipment and then consumables.
Okay.
So, are there instances where certain consumables are reused, or the time it has to be disposed?
All right, that's a great question. If they by definition, one time use is one time use. You use it, you throw it away. But because either the person is not aware, okay, or some hospitals, the piece, that instrument is not available anywhere they can get it, so they smuggle and reprocess a single-use item to be used again. But by definition, disposables are disposable. You use it, you trash it. If you use a paper plate to serve food, can you wash it and use it again? No. Okay, but you will find them in the hospital. But once you get them, you will have to let them know that you know what you're doing, therefore you don't have to process it. Okay, but if a surgeon, a doctor comes and say, I need it, I have no option, you have to let the surgeon sign that he asks you to reprocess it, so that if there's a problem, the problem is on the surgeon, not you. Did I answer the question?
Yes.
Great. So that's how.
My second question.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
You also made mention that when surgical instruments are delivered to the OR, and in the process of using it, and then the doctor, finds that an instrument is having some soil item on it. How do you detect the actual person who did not do his work well?
Okay, fantastic, good, beautiful. That's a good question. How do I detect? Because I have a lot of workers in the department, right? So when you are employed, you are given a unique ID that is associated with your name. That is what you use to log into the system that is being used in the department. We'll get to know the systems that are used in the various hospitals along the course. Now, when you log in, whatever comes out from that computer with that login has your name. So at the end of the day, when you put the tray or the instrument together, it has to have your name on it. So when that instrument goes into, or the tray goes into the room and there's a problem, all that we need to do is look at the paper and see whose name is on it. Oh, Fatima's name is on it. Okay, then I don't have to hold Jesse, right? Are you? Casey. I don't have to hold Casey, even though Casey also did somewhere. It is not Casey's name that is there. It is Fatima's name that is there. So I go there, they call the manager and say, there's a problem. All the manager needs to do is, oh, can I get a paper? I get a paper. I wait for Fatima when he comes at 3 o'clock. Fatima, see me in my office. I show, is that your name? Say, yes. Okay, there was a problem in the OR, maybe OR 6, OR 10, OR 15, 20. And what was the problem? Your instrument went there dirty. So now, if the instrument went dirty there, I'm going to hold Fatima as the first culprit. But I can do the investigation down the line and get to the one who did the decontamination. Be that the person didn't do the work well. So I wrote in the decontamination person for investigation too. But because Fatima is the one whose name is going to go on the final thing piece that is going to go to the water, you have to be the last person to catch it. If you don't catch it, it means that you didn't watch do it well. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
All right. Great. So,
thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, so acceptable names. Central service is widely accepted. That's the commonest you will find. Central service. That's the one you get. It's the commonest, it's the widely accepted term used in many healthcare facilities. This title is also recognized by professional organizations within the industry. Variations in title. Some facilities use alternative titles that reflect the department's specific scope of service. So depending on what they do, they can coin the title that you get. And then job titles may vary depending on the range and services you provide. Say, scope of services. Certain departments focus exclusively on supporting surgical services. Exclusively supporting. Okay. And others provide sterile processing and support services. So very few of them do just supporting. Most of the time, the department does the other one. Provide sterile processing and support services. Okay, so you process and you also can pick cases. So you process and support. Right. Guiding principle. Guiding principle refer to foundational standards and best practices that guide operations and ensures quality service. There are certain standards and practices that you have to follow if you want to succeed in this job. And once the practices, will see them, and then when you get to your workplace, they'll add more. They'll emphasize on them a lot. It's for your own good, for your own protection, and the protection of your colleagues. Common names. Other frequently used titles include sterile processing, central service. We have seen that. And then what? The Department of Labor recognizes and categorizes central service and sterile processing roles under official occupational classification. So, yes, you are recognized even at the federal level. Internationally, trust me, if you ever find yourself in Europe, you're good to go. If you find yourself in Africa, you're good to go. But you may not, in Africa, you may not see more because we are still developing. We are not advanced. You may see that's the other picture we saw earlier, right? But if you could go to Canada, work with it. You go to Europe, you go to Asia, same thing. You don't have a problem. Workflow. What is the workflow in central service? The workflow is one-way workflow. Central service is one-way workflow. How many of us here drive? If you drive, you don't drive. You are rich. Really? Other people drive you. I wish I could be in your position. So that you'll be driving me, I'll do greater than I'll sit down. Yeah. So one-way traffic. What happens if you go the other way in the one-way traffic? Accident. That's what's going to happen. If the road is going this way, every car is going this way. If you pass this way, you're going to cause problems. So there is workflow in central service is one direction. That's what we mean by one-way flow. You can't go the other way. See the arrow? You go this way, you get everything contaminated. So if an instrument is used in the OR, you take it, you don't bring it here. Let me use the cursor so that our online people will see. Where is the cursor has vanished? People.
Hiding somewhere.
Hiding somewhere. I see it. Okay. So keep put it on sterile storage for me. Yeah, on sterile storage.
Over there.
Yeah. Good. So our online viewers, you can see the cursor, right? Okay. Now, oh, it's off again.
Because I went away again. Because of the arrow piece.
So where the cursor is supposed to be the storage area. So if you pick an instrument from the OR, which is dirty, is used, you're not supposed to send it over there. Once you send it over there, by definition, everything that was there before you sent it is contaminated. So that is the accident we're talking about if it is sterile. Okay, so once you pick the instrument from the OR, it needs to go to soiled area. That is the dirty area. Then it is clean, decontaminated by making sure that we use either the sonic, the washers to reduce the biobedding and then the virus, the microbacteria on the instrument before it makes it safe for other people to touch it before it gets to clean and processing area. Okay. Once it gets to clean and processing area, that is when Casey and his friend Fatima will put it together following a certain instruction on the computer. Okay. It's safe to handle, to touch. It is not good to go and be used on the patient. So what happens? It moves from here, sterile processing area, to another stage that it will they will cook it. That is the autoclaving. And then once they cook it and it cools off, then it goes into the storage area. So it's one-way traffic. We cannot go the other way. You go the other way, you contaminate everything, and then you give more work. What happens when you go one way and they cause accident? It's going to bring about heavy traffic. Everybody who is going to work will be late on that lane. So please, it's a one-way traffic, and every section has physical barriers separating one section from the other. There is no opening from the soil area to the clean processing area. There is a wall separating the soil area from the clean processing area. And then when you get here, there's also just as these lines, imagine them as wall. So this is a wall separating the storage from the clean processing area. So there are barriers to prevent contamination of the rest. Okay, so that's how this basically operates. Are we okay? Yeah.
So let's assume a CDS is being sent to the soil area and processed to the final stage. So after it got to the final stage, then you find out that there's a problem with it, like it is not clean raw. So what does it go back to the clean processing area, or it goes back to the soil area?
It goes back to the soil area. And then start all over. Yeah. But if, let's say, an instrument went to soil area, it was clean, and then it moved to clean processing area. All right, and then Casey is putting it together and detects that something is unclean properly. All that he needs to do is stop there, take it back, get it done, and then it comes back to him. Okay. But if you don't catch it and it makes its way into the autoclave and make its way to the storage area, you have created a problem, because it will definitely get to the OR. Once it gets to the OR, you are in trouble. Your name will be mentioned. Okay? And nobody wants his name to be mentioned in bad faith, right? Everybody, So be careful what you do because your name is going to be on the final product. We have had situations whereby people go to and then their stuff get to the OR, there's a problem, they call them and say it wasn't me. Once your name is there, it's you. You can.
Yeah, let me come in here. One of the things that John is telling about is a sticker that we have like this one. You put it on the instrument. So whoever did it the last time, your name is going to be on there. The computers are going to store it. As we go, we'll be telling you about information and communication and how we store this information. They are all there. So whatever you're doing is critical. Your name is going to be on it. And there are certain techniques that will show you. It's not as crazy as you see. There are techniques that will show you. It gets to a point, as you were talking about the scissors, maybe you didn't process it. She did it, right? But you were at the center. If you see anything wrong with it, you don't have to say because she's doing it, you're letting it go. No. You have to take care of it right there. And that's how come we're able to get the things to the OR without this kind of problems. All right? But as we go, it's going to be on some chapters you know about it. Okay? So always put at the back of your head that when you see something wrong, don't let it go because somebody else did it. No. Take action right away.
Like we are working in
Team.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I was going to use that word. So it's a teamwork, all right? So this is my badge. This is my ID that I use. This is the system that you go, you scan this, you scan this one, you log in. And everything counts, everything that I do counts in my name. So if anything goes there in my name and there's a problem, I can't say I'm not the one who didn't do it. And that's why when you are off or you are done, you have to log yourself out. Because if you don't log yourself out and somebody goes to do any work on that system, it's going to produce your name. The only time we can know it is not you is we look at the time that the item came out. Let's say your shift ends at what? 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the item was processed at 7 o'clock p.m. Then I know right away that you didn't log out and somebody's used the machine. But by that time, if you don't take time, you have received the prosecuted already, you know. So make sure you log out and then also let other people log in. And what happens is that when you go and somebody does not log out, log the person out and then log yourself in. Okay? Don't try to throw them under the bus and use them to cause confusion. All right? Use their name to create stuff. But it's you have to be on the lookout to make sure that you get it right. Decontamination area. Now, you're not going to break down the stuff. Now, decontamination area receives soil instrument from user department. So the L&D, the emergency room, the ICU, the labor department, wherever they use instrumentation, everything they use will come to Central Sterile decontamination area. So involves physical or mechanical processes to render items safe. So decontamination is rendering items that were used in the operating room safe, either by physical or mechanical means. Physical means you are using your hand to do it. Mechanical means you push it inside the machine and the machine will take care of it. All right. So first step in the processing process. That is the first thing that we do in the processing of the items. So decontamination area is very, very, very important. If you get a very good person who does the decontamination, the rest of it is easy. But if you don't get a good person, it's going to be trouble. And not many people like this area. You get to know why. Along the line. Or when you get to start. Okay. So manual cleaning. Using your physical, doing it yourself. All right. Like the way we wash the bowls and water. All right. Requires knowledge of microbiology and